My name is Gerald Francis Coleman. My rank was Lieutenant Colonel, United States Marine Corps. Korea was totally different. It was a fixed front where they loaded up every Saturday, it seemed, with ammunition, and when you went to certain places, it really got bombarded. And the one thing that I figured that there were about 6 people that were killed in World War II and Korea as pilots that I knew. But the one that really bothered me most of all was in Korea. We were deep in North Korea someplace up toward Diallo and doing a mission. We're pulling out, and I had the second section. Our flight leader was a major who was married with 5 kids. And he came out, and all of a sudden I saw smoke coming off his wing, and he blew up. And that was a man by the name of Max Harper. And he went down, and then the culmination of that disaster, I mean, you never forget it, you know, because this was your guy that lived right across the room from you. He had 5 kids. And when I got back from Korea, they gave me a day at Yankee Stadium. And I thought this was great, but I had to make a speech, and I didn't like that, and so forth. And what happened was about 8 o'clock in the morning, before I went over to the stadium, I got a call and said, somebody said, "Hi, I'm Max Harper's son-in-law." And I said, "Oh, hi," or brother-in-law, I forget which it was. And he said, "His wife is down there, she'd like to talk to you." Well, Korea was a strange war. People disappeared and never heard from him for months, and they'd show up someplace. And she wanted to make sure that he was dead. And I had to face this woman and tell her, "Yes, your husband's dead," and her 5 kids. The look on her face, I live with to this day. Well, she said, "If that's true, I'd like to have you sign some papers," which I did, and I never saw her again. But when I look at that woman's face, it always mirrors what war is really about. It was terrible. So that was pretty much Korea. I got out of Korea. The war had ended, and I was sitting on some mountain up just by the DMZ, and I got a call from the Yankees asking me if I could get out of the service. And I said, "Well, I don't know." I said, "Well," so I ran a letter through, and I got to General Vernon McGee, and he said, "We'll have you out here in 2 days." So I said, "That's great." There was nothing to do except sit there, you know, and so he let me go. But unfortunately, there was a man, an assistant commandant named Hart, I believe, who rejected that. And so I said, "Well, I had about a month and a half to go, actually." So then Sheffield came back, who was the commandant, and he approved it. And within 48 hours in San Francisco, and another 48 hours in New York. So they really took good care of me, and they gave me, well, Sheffield, I think it was Sheffield or Sheffield or something like that, was the commandant at the time. He cleared it, and because there was nothing to do except sit there. The war was over, wait to go home. And I got home quicker than the others. I think the military does one thing for you. It teaches you what life is all about. And the one thing about the business I was in, the war air, or the air war, I should have got it backward, was frankly a clean war. In other words, people blew up around you, you went into dives, there were 6 planes, you come up with 5 showed up, where'd the other guy, what happened to the other, nobody saw him, he disappeared. And you didn't sit in the trenches with somebody next to you having their head blown off, or the gore of the tragedy of real death. We never saw that. We knew it happened and how it happened. We used to have vector searches on long missions to find out if any surface things coming at us, and we'd go out, we'd fly about 100 feet off the water for an hour this way, half hour that way, hour back. It was lonely, and you felt like you were on the moon. But the real gore and tragedy of war never hits you, except people disappear, and you don't have to see the tragedy of somebody going down next to you.